Welcome back to Taival Outdoors. My name is Joel. That's my dog Rokka. We are quite literally on my own backyard, in the backyard bushcraft shelter. I have a bit of a lean-to debris shelter over there. So I've done over the years, basically just thrown together all sorts of wood and branches, things like that. Over on this side, I have a bit more permanent structure. And believe it or not, this maybe 1.2 meters or something that's done and finished took quite a while. I want to say a few hours, and I did this with a friend of mine. So we had two guys, two axes, two saws, and it took a long time, and we cut down a lot of this younger growth that needed to be cleared out on the property, and all we got was up here. So there's a lot more still to do. So this was actually my first time hanging up this DD tarp, and I was surprised how well it lined up with these support beams. It was almost as it was meant to be there. But anyway, it's the middle of the week, just finished up work day at the home office, came here. Plan is to spend the night here, build up a fire. There should be a fire pit right there, believe it or not. Clean up the camp a bit, make some good food, and just enjoy the evening, enjoy the night. It should dip down to -10, something along those lines. In the morning, around 8 o'clock, it should be -15, but I'm probably already back at the house by that point. But in the morning, we'll definitely still light up the fire and make some coffee and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's time to clean up the camp and get this evening going. Thanks for joining in. You guys know how much I prefer a saw over an axe, but it sure makes processing this stuff a lot easier than just batoning it with a knife. Fire loves chaos. I cannot remember who said that, but it makes a lot of sense. All right, there's the bed for tonight. Just the foam sleeping pad here, protecting the air mattress, and I can actually just push the whole thing away and stand and kneel and sit on this during tonight if need be. Inside here, my X-Bed inflatable pad, and actually this is something that you probably haven't seen on my channel, but this is the very first bivy bag that I've ever purchased. It is, I think it is British military surplus. I probably got this one 10 years ago, and the reason why I haven't really been using this a lot in the past few years is because I've been using To Go Systems bivy bags, which pack down into, I don't know, 1.5 liters or something like that. And this is very heavy, bulky, and doesn't compress much at all, but it is very durable, just perfect for these conditions. And as you could probably tell by the name of this video, I don't have a sleeping bag. And the reason is quite simple. I'm not doing this because I would like to do a video of no sleeping bag overnight in the winter. No. You guys said that I shouldn't have a sleeping bag. I ran a community poll and said that I'm either taking my winter sleeping bag filled with down, or the new BeGlue aerogel sleeping bag, or then no sleeping bag at all and just sleep in my clothes. Well, the tribe has spoken. It was a close race between BeGlue and just clothes, and the last time I checked, it was indeed 1 or 2% more of the votes went to just clothes. So that's what I'm going to do then. These things that I have on me right now, plus of course Luhka, and roughly half of that backpack volume is filled with puffy jacket and then PCU level 7 pants. So I should be nice and comfy tonight even without the sleeping bag. Let's see. I know the GoPro is very bad at focusing to anything that's very close by it, but I believe it's -7, -8 at the time. Not sure how big of an impact that thing has. I have this cheap little compact grill around the camp here, and I now laid that down. There's a base, a couple of big frozen solid pieces of wood on top to give some better airflow, and then this guy on top. Yeah, that should work. So while the big pan is heating up, I'll quickly go through what we're having. So, of course, some olive oil, never hurt anyone. Then this is kind of a new find for me. It's shredded potatoes. So it looks like rice, but it's not rice, it's just finished potatoes. Apparently, because of that, it's also good for the environment, so win-win. And I reckon that 150 grams of very greasy pork jerky will do it for the meat. I mean, this thing is the best, especially during winter time. A lot of fats, not just protein and salt, but a lot of fat. So that's a hefty meal. Probably a meal for two, but we'll see. And then just before leaving the house, I also rummaged through the freezer and found 4 slices of, I believe, some type of smoked cheese. We had burgers the other day, so these are leftovers and I think just perfect for this meal. So I have a hunch that I will be getting quite a strong smoky flavor to this food. I just realized that I forgot my Trangia multi-disc little plate thingy, which would have been perfect for this, but oh well. All right, cheers guys. A little bit of cheese, jerky, potatoes. Oh, and smoke to the face, of course. Ooh. Not bad actually. Bit of a stir fry kind of thing. And that greasy pork. Really makes it. Not sure if we have enough light or not for filming, but I will rig up some lights soon. But maybe while I'm eating, I could also tell you guys a bit, in case some of you are wondering that why do I have a setup like this? Why even go camping in your own backyard? Well, 2 main reasons. Number 1, I have a smoker right there, and of course this big pan, which means that we can do some outdoor cooking with the family, if it's a special occasion, or for example, midsummers, we always smoke some fish, stuff like that. And secondly, setup like this is a good learning opportunity. Learning how to make shelters, how to build fires, so forth. Should also be a good place to teach the little ones once they get a bit older. Good controlled environment, but everything's right here. You know, building open fires like that is no simple task in Finland. It's very limited where you can actually do something like that. let alone build any shelters. So yeah, do you guys have anything like this on your properties, or maybe you have some other place where you are allowed to set up shelters and so forth? Let me know. It doesn't look like much, but it's really good. There we go. Today is 21st of February, which is Laskiaistiistai in Finland. And I believe, unless I'm mixing some things up, that should translate to Pancake Tuesday in English. So that means tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, and it marks the start of 40 days of Lent or fasting. And traditionally, during Laskiainen or Laskiaistiistai, we Finns eat some type of bun, sweet bun with whipped cream and raspberry strawberry jam inside. Unfortunately, I don't have that, but I have the next best thing. So I have tikkupulla. So I don't know, bun in a stick. There's probably a better translation than that, but anyway, this thing. So let's heat it up. And I bring up this Lent and fasting because I've actually done 2 or 3 times now those 40 days. I've done a kind of a, well, actual fasting. So I'm eaten only once per day for 40 days. But last year I went alcohol free for 40 days. I know many people do that in January or so forth, but anyway, I thought that this is a kind of a nice way of acknowledging the occasion and doing alcohol free 40 days before Easter, and think about doing that same thing this year. So last beer until Easter. My compliments to the wife. Good stuff. I believe these are the US military PCU level 7 pants. I got these last, maybe already in August or something like that. Anyway, last fall. And haven't yet had the reason to wear these, so now I do. These are designed to go over your clothing. Nice long zips. Yeah. Yes, sir. I don't think I've ever owned pants like this. Anything that's even close. Size medium long. But I say that this could be longer, but we just have to wait for these to get a bit of loft back into them. These were quite compressed there in the backpack. And of course, for jacket, I have this 511 Acadia down jacket. Underneath, actually, this Ace Winter Combat shirt and my wool shell pants, I have just the Varustelleka Särmä TST level 2 merino wool blend base layer. I don't know, I just get a bit excited when I get to use gear that I own, but I don't have often the opportunity to use, you know? Because most of the stuff that I buy is stuff that I use all the time. And that's kind of the way I try to purchase things, is that they need to be something that I use a lot for the purchase to make sense. But something like this, you know, cold weather gear is very weather dependent, and winter dependent, I guess, these days. And actually the final layer is my Luhka sturdy wool fabric. And actually in my layering video, I did mention that this is a great piece of gear to have in order to protect your clothing as well from the sparks and stuff like that that flies off the fire. Always a bit difficult to get on. I threw in now a couple of the last bigger pieces of firewood. Although I do have more over here, of course, but I don't feel like I have to burn them just because. So I think I will now just lay down and watch the fire burn. And then try to get some sleep. Try to get the dog settled down. Get some sleep as well. All right, see you in the morning. Well, this is kind of lame. I'm completely warm around my torso, around my legs especially. These pants are great. These are awesome. Around my arms. But my damn left foot is cold. All of the toes are cold. I did actually a bit of an experimenting and found out that this is the warmest way for my feet and my toes. So I have my darn tough socks, then wool socks, and then these inner boots on, not the outer boots. So there's no compression and nothing restricting the blood flow. But of course, these Mendel Söldins aren't really like. They are okay. I mean, the concept is good, but these are not super warm boots. The inner boots. Yeah. Lefty is completely cold. Now I could, of course, go indoors, sleep there, come here in the morning and act like nothing happened. But that's not me. That would be stupid. So, yeah. And I don't have any of those little heating pads or anything with me. Because I don't have my kit bag, and usually I always have those in my kit bag. So while I was editing this video, I realized that I didn't mention a couple of obvious things that probably came to your mind as well when watching this. So I could have, of course, done jumping jacks and squats and whatnot every half an hour or so to keep my feet warm. Or I could have even fueled the campfire all night long to, again, warm my feet. But I decided against both of those because it seemed kind of pointless to do that just for the sake of a video. I hope you guys understand that. This is just a hobby. I'm not trying to do these videos in order to make it big in the outdoor entertainment industry or anything like that. This is just for fun, and yeah, don't mess around with the cold. That's all I got to say. So yeah. I guess I don't have a choice but to call it for tonight. So everything else works, clothing-wise, but my damn feet. There's just seemingly no answer to them, despite what Rokka says. So, I guess it is time to pack my gear and head inside and start figuring out this problem with my cold feet. Maybe that's then the next video in the cold weather clothing and layering series. How to keep your feet warm when absolutely static. I don't know. Maybe you guys have some answers. Let me know down in the comments. See you all in the next one.